My name's Josh. I lead demand gen at a company called Pavilion. We are the top community, private community for B2B sales, marketing, ops, and customer success leaders. So basically, we have chapters in every major city. So people come and join Pavilion. It's a paid community, mostly B2B tech. And they join Pavilion to take our courses. They join Pavilion to engage locally at events like this. They join Pavilion to go to big summits, other events that we put on. So it's really like a solid community. And we have a really solid Slack community as well of like 10,000 different people that engage in different channels regarding AI to revenue operations, to marketing, to demand gen, to running ads on Google. Like there's a channel for everything in Pavilion. It is incredible. And I'm very grateful to be working there. I started there in September. So today we're going to talk about 3 specific use cases for AI. The first one is going to be synthesizing data. So we all run surveys. We all have a bunch of data. How do we make any sense of that data? How do we find correlations? How do we find random things? And can we use AI to help us do a better job at that? The second I'm going to talk through is building marketing campaigns. I use a tool called Jasper to help generate some inspiration for marketing campaigns. And again, all these tools are they're free or inexpensive. So that's what's really cool. So, and then the last thing I'm going to talk about is personalizing sales outreach at scale. So how many of you guys are involved on the sales side, whether you're in marketing or you're in selling okay, nice, right on. So a few people. So ton of email fatigue, right? Everybody gets cold emails all the freaking time. You have to cut through the noise. And there's some really cool ways to leverage AI to cut through that noise and personalize at scale. And I'll talk through that today. But let's just jump right in. But first, some quick tips. So the first thing is instruct AI like you are instructing an intern. So I don't know if any of y'all have had an intern before, somebody who's very fresh, very green, very excited. You have to reel them in. You have to tell them specifically what to do when you have them do a task. That is how you should approach AI in everything that you do, okay? Secondly, before you Google something, ask yourself, can I have AI do this for me? That's like a mindset shift that a lot of people are having a really hard time with, my team included, right? It's really tough to like get out of the mindset of, let me just Google something. But in fact, you literally have a tool. I have a tool in my pocket that I could get the answer to in 2 seconds versus me spending 3 minutes Googling, going to a web page and finding it. So it's sort of a mindset shift. I feel like 10 years ago, people got really good at Googling, right? Like putting quotes around things for exact matches, like doing like really clever things. And now we're moving to this world of like AI, and it's so freaking exciting. And then the third point that I want to make is, and we just had this conversation, is like over communicate to your team when you use AI. I cannot stress this enough. You'll find that if you are like an early adopter, especially in your company, that other people are going to like look at you and be like, oh, that's really cool. Over communicate to them, show them how you work and how you do all that amazing work in these AI tools, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's whatever, any of the other tools that I shared. That's really going to be the key to like level up your team. Candidly, it's like really difficult to get people out of like the old mindset of Googling things and getting people into the mindset of how can I use AI to be a lot more efficient. So with that said, I'm going to jump right into a few use cases. So we're going to start with the first use case here, which is synthesize data. So every month, this is what's really cool about working at a company like Pavilion. We can survey our members with what's happening in the market. We call it our monthly pulse survey. We ask, hey, did you hit your revenue goals last month? How are you feeling? And of course, the question, how are you feeling? Or the question, why didn't you hit your goals? That's open text data. That's data that's information that somebody types in and says, oh, my we missed our forecasting. We did this marketing campaign sucked. It's all just like open text data, but I want to give people the freedom in their survey to share that information, right? So I have all this data right here where, you're not gonna be able to read it, but it's a bunch of plain text data. And I need to figure out, my goal right here is to take all this plain text data and synthesize it into a few key points. So the first question in this survey is, did you hit your revenue targets last month? 1 being, I didn't hit my target, 5 being, I exceeded the target. If they answered 1, we asked them, why didn't you hit your target? If they answered 5, we asked them why they hit their target. So now I want to start to bring some common themes in across the responses that people had in terms of why they hit their target or why didn't they hit their target. So what I'm going to do inside of ChatGPT, this is the pro version. So it's $20 a month. All I have to do is basically export this survey results right here. So I'm going to go in here and I need to download this, upload a file. This is like, I think like a month or two ago. Yeah. Cool. All right, so here we go. So I just uploaded this. Now this is really, really key here. Now's the time to talk to them like they're an intern, okay? So I have columns C, D, and we'll just do C and D. I have columns C and D. I need you to take that data and create and give me 5 common themes of the open text responses. Be brief. All right, cool. So now, if I can move this guy, we'll do B2, B, C, B, C, and D. All right, cool. So now what it's doing is it's looking into my spreadsheet right here. It's saying, all right, let's pull in this data, And then now it's saying, I'm going to analyze the columns to identify common themes and responses. So now it's going to look at this column, and this column. Sorry, Andrew, I'm not trying to mess up your TV. All right, cool. So really like the use case here is like anytime you're collecting like any type of data, like it's just like going to make it super quick. So there we go. So there's some common themes right here. Now, what did it not do? It's not brief, right? I told you to keep to less than, I don't know, let's say 240 characters per theme. I also want you to break out each column into 5 themes. So basically what happened is it gave me, this is why you need to train it, right? So like this is what I'll call like really basic prompt engineering. Like, hey, you didn't give me what I first asked you to do, so I need to keep refining it. And what's cool is it just saves the record of your previous conversation so it can continue. So now it's going to generate the common themes, and then we can, copy and paste them into the report that I put together so I don't have to do it myself. Okay, cool. So reasons for not hitting target, reasons for hitting target, reasons for exceeding targets. So boom, I just have like the common themes based on, I got, I don't know, a bunch of freaking responses. So yeah, it's literally looking at, that's a great question. It's literally looking at all these responses right here and just bucketing them into common themes. So it's basically like summarizing each individual response into a bucket and then determining the common themes from that. Is that what you're asking? Or yeah, I've done this for 12,000 records before, and it produces a response in like 20 seconds. It's like super quick. Yeah. And what I encourage you to do is like when you do get a response from it summarizing something for you, to take a look at, hey, does this make sense, right? Pipeline and market challenges, deal expectations mismatch, lower outcomes. That checks out, right? But I don't know. I'm writing this report for B2B software providers, right? So rewrite this for B2B software companies. So now you can go even further to say, okay, I'm going to tailor these responses to the audience that I'm going after. So that's like the next level. The first level is, hey, give me some answers really quick. The next level is, how do I personalize it to an audience? And as a marketer, that's my goal, right? You got to have personalization at scale. So that was example A. Example B will be a little bit more advanced. So at Pavilion, this is our form to sign up. We ask people how they heard about us. This is an open text field. I love open text fields for how did you hear about us? It lets people be honest. They're like, oh, my buddy Bob told me at this trade show. You're not going to get that data if you ask in a drop down, how did you hear about us? However, we get 1,000 leads essentially a month that go through this flow. So it's a lot of data to manually like tap into. So I built a custom GPT, and this is something that I'm happy to talk with any of y'all offline about, but you can basically build custom GPTs for your own use cases. So if you find yourself repeating a process in your company 1 million times and using ChatGPT for it, you can create basically a product or a bot to handle that for you. So for me, I do this process every month. So I'm like, let's categorize all this data. So I literally designed it only for our use case. So, for example here, it's like, first provide me a list of your employees, because if somebody lists an employee out on how did you hear about us, I want to attribute that to an employee talking to that person. But I want to separate out my sales reps from other people within the Pavilion HQ ecosystem. So in this case, I'll just make it really easy and just do Josh Carter and then my CEO, Sam Jacobs. And I built this like a product. So now it's talking and it's saying, okay, great. I've gotten your sales reps or your non-sales reps. Now give me your sales reps. So I'll do just Colin Tobler, who is my SDR, and then Marshawn Dalton, who is our other SDR. Now it's going to ask me for a list of partners. So if somebody, a lot of people have affiliate relationships with people, whatever. So you want to make sure you tag those people appropriately. So in this case, I'm just going to put one partner in just for the sake of argument. Great. So now I uploaded that, and now it's going to ask me to upload a CSV file. So now we're doing the same thing as we did last time. We're uploading the CSV file. And this is my favorite part about it. It's going to provide me, because I instructed this in the bot that I built, which, by the way, you can build the bot using AI. So it's literally like, what are you trying to solve for? And you literally just say specifically what you want to do. So the way I designed this bot is I told it to give me a preview of 10 records before it produced the giant CSV file of like the 1,000+ records. So that way I'm able to go through here and make corrections. So that's kind of how I have a stopgap. So if you ever are doing something where you upload a data set and tell it to analyze something, you can tell it, hey, just show me a quick preview of like the first 5 to make sure you're doing it right. And if you need to fix something, I can just be like, yo, this person, LinkedIn post should not be categorized as that. It should be categorized as this, and then it'll update it all for the whole data set. So that's kind of how I approach it. Cool. Let's keep rocking and rolling here. We got a couple more. So the next one is going to be building marketing campaigns. So this is going to be fun. So I use a tool called Jasper, which is a fun AI tool that's built on a lot of the language models that power things like ChatGPT and other things. So this is the tool that has like a free trial, so you can play around with it. It's really awesome. My goal, we're hosting an event in a couple months. That event is for CMOs, and my boss was like, hey, Josh, I need you to create a work back plan of like all the emails that need to go out to promote the summit. I need you to come up with all the social posts. So it's basically like everything that I need to build for this event that's coming up, which is like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't feel like doing this right now. Like, not in the mood, right? So with this tool, I can say, okay, I'm going to call it CMO Summit as the campaign. And they allow you to upload pages on your website to apply your brand voice. So one of the big issues with AI today is it all sounds like AI. So what's really cool, things like ChatGPT is really good at, is you can upload a writing sample to ChatGPT. So if you're ever doing anything writing related, you can say, hey, I need you to write me this, but I want you to talk in this tone. And then you put like a writing sample of you, so it sounds like you. Cool. So now it's asking me content to create for me. So I'm going to, screw it. I'll do a Google text ad. I'll do a Instagram caption. I'll do a LinkedIn post. I'll even do a nurture email sequence. So I click generate. It's going to create some like sample pieces of content that are AI driven. And because I included the URL of the event, it's literally scanning that page and just going to produce all the content that I need for me in like 10 seconds. So it just created all this copy for me. Obviously, I can jump in and edit it and do whatever. So, maybe I say create a super short email, but I want you to have the email copy create a bit of FOMO. So a little bit of FOMO, right? Because why wouldn't you want to do it? So now it's like, okay, I'll generate you a FOMO email. Okay, so what offer or event are reporting? CMO Summit in NYC, April 18th. Next. What's the deadline for this offer? So it's literally like taking the feedback I told it that I need a FOMO email, and it's saying, when's the deadline for the offer? So it just instinctively knows that. I'm going to say the deadline's April 10th. Cool. So it's just going to generate now. It's going to be super short. Final call, secure your spot. Hey there, time's ticking and seats are filling fast for our CMO Summit. Don't miss your chance to connect with the marketing elite and take your strategies to the next level. RSVP by April 10th. So this is just an example. Like, obviously, I hate the emojification of this, but I would remove that. But yeah, this is just an example of ways that you can kind of like start creating things at scale. And again, it takes reps. Like, it's just like anything. It's like we're cyclists. Like, it takes time. You got to be in the saddle. You got to freaking crank it out to like actually like hit your results. So the more you do this, the more you'll get used to it. So I went through that really quickly. I have one more that I'm like super stoked for. It's a very new tool. I met with their CEO yesterday. This is also the best part of my job. I literally get to like talk to like B2B founders and executives that are building cool tools. It's like, I'm in like heaven right now. All right, so this is fun because some of y'all are doing sales or doing some sort of sales. So like the traditional way of doing outbound sales is to maybe personalize an email, write it hand by hand, or you do the mass email, right? You're like, hey, first name, I'm Josh at company name, given you work as a job title at company name, I think will be a great fit. It's like very like boilerplate. It's never going to work for you. It's like literally never going to work. The volume of cold outbound email has gone up so freaking substantially that it's like it's just so hard to cut through the noise. So how do you cut through the noise? Well, you have to personalize, but you can't be like, hey, Andrew, I was looking on your Facebook, saw your because that's not even relevant, right? Like I was looking on your Facebook, saw you bought a bike. Bikes are cool. I also like bikes. Like, you can't do that. You have to have it relevant to the problem that you're solving for. So this is a new tool. So imagine that you have a new lead come in on your website, or maybe it's whatever. You have people you want to reach out to. You have a list. So it's basically a workflow tool called Copy.ai that's doing a few different things. So this whole thing right here that says input, just imagine that's just like somebody you want to scan. That person can come in at any way. It could come in through your website, could come in through a list you upload to it, whatever. I'm asking it to enrich the contact info. So I want you to find as much information as you possibly can about this person. I want you to research their company. I want you to generate an email and generate a subject line. And then I could even click a button that says send the email, or send it to my Slack and I can click approve and have it send out, okay? So now's the fun part. All right, drum roll please. All right, so here we go. My goal is to reach out to Andrew over here, okay? Andrew started the sign up process and didn't convert. And I'm gonna send him, exactly, that guy, right? So imagine this comes in, and this could be triggered off of anything. It could be a list you upload, it could be an API call, it could be anything you possibly want. But in this case, I'm kind of doing it by hand to show you. So imagine these things are just dynamic. They can come in naturally. So I'm just going to go ahead and run this test, and I'll show you what the output is. All right, so again, this tool has no idea who Andrew is. All I gave them is Andrew's email, okay? It's called Copy.ai. All right, so here's what's creepy. It's going to be hard to see, but let me zoom in. It's not your address. It's not your address. I already tested this. You're good. So, no. So this is what's cool about this tool. This is what's really cool about this tool. It looked up Andrew. Andrew has the @workshopdigital.com domain. It found Andrew on LinkedIn, and it says co-founder, vice president of strategy. His seniority is CEO, and his department is operations. That's insane, and also terrifying. But if you don't use these tools, the people you're competing with will. I'm just saying it like it is. Like, this is just how it is right now. Like, this data is publicly available on the internet about you. The data is about me. I could find where I live. There is a way to integrate. We can talk about it. Yeah. All right, cool. So this isn't that exciting yet, right? So we got some information about Andrew. We did the research on the company. So it pulled in a bunch of research and pulled in the citations for that research. Now it generated a personalized email based on what I wanted it to personalize. Hope you're doing well. I noticed you started the sign-up process for Pavilion but didn't complete it. As a co-founder and VP of strategy at Workshop Digital, I'm sure you're always looking for ways to stay on top of the latest trends. That's exactly what Pavilion was designed for. With your location near Richmond, so I told in the email prompt, find the closest major city, because like if you're in Mannequin Sabbath or you're in Danville, Virginia, like I'm going to try to find the closest city, right? So this is, again, going back to the personalization. If I were to say Mannequin Sabbath, you'd be like, that's a cold email because I put Mannequin Sabbath as my LinkedIn headline or something like that. Now it generated a personalized email for me, and even more connections to bring value to Workshop Digital. Boom, and then generate the subject line. And then I can go as far as actually like kick off that email to send to him. But just imagine you have a list of like prospects and your people that you have been trying to sell to for a while. If any of y'all are in sales roles, you could upload this into here, review all the emails at once, and then just click send, 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 and have it be like so freaking personalized at scale that your response rate will go from like 5% to probably like 40 to 50 based on some initial testing I've done. Who would be an ideal fit for your company? HVAC. HVAC OEM. Okay, cool. So I could be like, add a step to score leads based on if they, score a lead 10 points if they are an HVAC company, 5 points if they're a roofing company. Add this as a step after research company. Let's see if it does it. Haven't gone this far, so we'll find out. Yeah, but I've seen people do scoring through this tool. If they can get the industry, they basically feed it with a list of like industries in their IC, like who they're trying to sell to, and it'll generate that. So, yeah.
So if it hits certain criteria, you can say
it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll show you right here. Oh, actually, here we go. It scored the lead. Use the company name and domain to determine if they're an HVAC company, roofing company. Score that lead. Yeah. So isn't that crazy? So it literally is going to score the lead, and then I'm going to be able to reference the score to determine whether or not I want to send it or not. So I could create, it's going to actually do the research on the company and automatically categorize it. So in this case with Andrew, it's going to score a 0 because Andrew works at Workshop Digital, which it identified by scanning LinkedIn that it's an agency. So kind of crazy. But to your use case, when you generate your email body, you can personalize the heck out of it. So you could bring in any additional context from the research. So in this case, I said, reference the nearest major city the prospect lives in by looking at this field, which is the result of doing the research on LinkedIn. You could do the same thing for anything else. So I could say, I don't know, for example here, just to show you the breadth of data, I could say, make the subject line. This is like, obviously you would never do this, but like, just to show you an example, like you can have it automatically bring in all that stuff. And then, and then have it just right there for you, automated. It's Copy.ai, like they're an incredible tool. But anyways, there is a little bit of a learning curve for everything, right? But like my goal is to build this out for my SDR team. So when the second somebody comes in on our website and abandons cart, it does all the research and kicks off that email. And then we increase right now our conversion rate is around 13% for cart abandonments. If I can get that up to 16%, that's an additional about 100K in ARR in the year. So like, that's just like little things, incremental things that we could do. Yeah, they've got, I don't know if this specifically has tracking, but what you could do is whatever you use to kick off the email, you would want to make sure that that gets sent out of like that A/B test, for example. But somebody was asking like, how do you actually get it to send the email? You can click add a step here, and you can pass the email in any format you want. So you could pass it as like plain text, formatted text, and you could send it to, maybe you send it to a custom field in Marketo or something like that. And then have that custom field be the only thing in the email body or something like that. There's like so many different kind of options to do that. How I'm going to start using it is actually have it generate the email in a Slack format and have a button that my rep can press send or click edit and then send. So that's kind of like where I want to start because I want to make sure they can check first. But again, I literally just started using this tool yesterday, but I was like, I have to talk about this because it's so freaking cool.